You know, the Sony FX30 kind of came out of nowhere. No massive hype train, no 6-month teaser campaign, just here it is. And instantly, people started asking, wait, what is this thing? At first glance, it looked like a baby FX3. Same body style, same cinema line branding, but the price almost half. And that got everyone's attention. So I started digging. Why would Sony make an APS-C cinema camera when all the talk in the industry is full frame this and full frame that? And that's when the story got interesting. They built it for a very specific crowd, not the wedding photographers, not the hybrid shooters trying to do both worlds. They built it for the solo filmmaker, the indie director, and the YouTuber who's ready to level up their look. Under the hood, a brand new 26 megapixel back illuminated APS-C sensor. It oversamples from 6K to give you insanely sharp 4K up to 60 frames. And if you can handle the 1.6 crop, you can push it all the way to 4K at 120 frames per second. And in 1080p mode, you can take it all the way up to 240 frames per second, and it still produces a clear, sharp image in beautiful slow-mo. And yeah, they gave it all the cinema line perks. S-Log, CINE EI mode, dual base ISO, and something I personally love, you can load in your own LUTs and actually see them while you shoot. All right, so something that I like to do when I set up my Sony FX30, and I think this will be super important to help you come up with your own setup for this, is I've got a couple custom buttons that I like to set, and I'm gonna link a cheat sheet for this down in the description below so you can grab that if you want. It's a free download. But the first one that I set up is right here, this focus magnifier button. I like to set that to toggle back and forth between autofocus and manual focus. So if you look right here, you can see that just switches me back and forth from manual focus, and then hit it again, and it goes to autofocus. So that one right there helps me when I want to switch on the fly back and forth depending on what I'm focusing on. Okay, the next one is going to be, I talked about earlier, the LUTs that you can load into the camera. You do that on the SD card, but if you're not shooting in log and you want to use some different color profiles or some different things that will help your footage stand out, I have this center button right here set to the creative looks that you can get. There's 11 creative looks. You've got standard, you got all these different creative looks. I'm not going to go through them all right here, but I'm actually going to show them. You can see all the different creative looks, black and white. There's all these different creative looks, and then you can also modify the settings in each one of those creative looks down below here. So that's another important one. So then the last one that we have is this number 4 button. I have that set to choose my peaking color. So as you can see, you get 4 peaking colors: yellow, red, blue, and white. Now, depending on what you're shooting on and the background that you're shooting, you may need a different peaking color so you can see what's in focus. This is very important if you're focusing manually or if you're focusing with the autofocus, because the autofocus, it's really good on Sony, but it's not perfect. It can get locked on to the wrong thing, and you want to know what you're focusing on. So these 3 custom buttons are what I like to use, and then this will help you if you want to come up with your own custom button setup. So grab that cheat sheet down below. All right, so let me give you the full setup of what I used today. A setup that has been working very well for me with the Sony FX30. Starts with a small rig classic shoulder mount. Got the camera mounted on there. Got a Viltrox 550 monitor, so that way if I'm taking shots like this, I can get down a little bit lower, I can steady the camera better. If I want to go up high, I can use it this way, and I use the monitor on the back of the camera for that one, so that way I can get a really good steady shot there. And what the other thing that I've got is right here, so I don't have to let go of the handles. I've got a small remote mounted on the one side of the handle, so that way, when I take my shot like this, I got my thumb right here. So that way I don't have to let go and try and get up here or to this button over here. I can just hit this remote and boom, just capture the shot right on the go. Then if I don't want to hold the rig and I want to mount it on, put it on a tripod, I've got this set up here, so that way I can just take and I can go ahead and I can move it around. I can get the shot that way. I can leave it on the tripod. I can do whatever I want with it. I'm gonna link everything for this down below in the description so you can see it, check it out for yourself. Come up with a rig that works well for you. Where it gets interesting. Some of the missing features. They're not oversights, they're intentional. No EVF, no traditional mode dial, no in-camera raw recording. Because Sony wasn't trying to make this your everything camera. They wanted it laser focused on video. Now, does that mean that you can't take pictures with this camera? Absolutely not. You can take beautiful pictures with this camera, you just don't have the EVF. Of course, it's not perfect. You'll notice some rolling shutter if you whip pan too fast, and that 120 frame per second crop can feel tight in some spaces. And yeah, you'll probably want to buy an extra battery or two and some extra chargers. But the moment you pick this thing up and you start to work with it, it just feels like it's ready for a full shoot day. The FX30 isn't here to compete with the A7 series or the FX3. It's here to give you cinema features in a package that's small enough to throw on a gimbal, light enough to travel with, and affordable enough that, well, you might actually buy two of these. And the truth is, every professional filmmaker with higher end cameras has one of these tucked aside and uses it on a regular basis. So, is it for everyone? If you want the ultimate hybrid still/video camera, look elsewhere. But if you want a dedicated video workhorse with the look and feel of Sony's top cinema tools, the FX30 might just be your camera.